Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Writing Wednesday. I'm Mariesa, and I'm going to be your host today and every week for Writing Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have not watched session number one, it was last week, and it's Why We Write. It was entitled Why We Write. But this week for session two, we're going to talk about why I wrote and why I write. So today I want to go a little bit deeper and share my why, not just as a coach or an author, but also a girl who got a journal when she was 10 years old and didn't know it would change her life. Okay, so I want to talk about that. I want to go a little bit deeper, give some personal testimony, and go from there. So I'm looking forward to this session. If you don't have pen and a paper, if you want to take notes, it's perfect. This is a perfect opportunity to do so. So this here is an actual picture of my very first journal. I was 10 years old when my mother gifted this to me. And it's just a hardback journal with this golden retriever puppy on it. Inside it, when I received it, it was blank. It just had lined pages, just a lot of lined pages, and I didn't truly know what to do with it. But I think that my mother saw something in me, and thank God for parents who have discernment and parents who listen to the Lord. I believe she saw something in me and gifted this journal to me for me to write, express myself, and lead into writing books. I'm not sure if she saw the vision fully, but I do believe that the Lord inspired her and laid on her heart to give me this journal. What I will say about this too, about having discerning parents, watch your children. You play a very important role in the development of their gifts. Sometimes we can encourage and sometimes we can also hinder as parents, but this is just a side note. So I just wanted to say that because my mother gifted this to me. And in hindsight, it wasn't just a gift, it was a lifeline. At first, because I didn't know what to put inside it, I used it like an agenda. Since I can remember, I've written lists and like to do checklists and things of that nature. So at first, that's what I used it for. My weekly plans, though, turned into what I did over the weekend. It turned into short, like blurbs, little entries here and there. And it started that way. When I open it, I can see how it started that way, but it started to evolve pretty quickly. I started to further develop, I should say, a love for writing these entries. And it started right where I, wrote about kind of like how I was feeling and what I was possibly struggling with, more so in my teen years, and what I hoped for as well. And there's some in there, I know it may not be in this one, but I know that I've written entries on when parents were getting on my nerves and how it's unfair in my teenage years that I have these rules. And maybe about a boy that I may have liked or loved. There are some things in some of my journals about that also. But the journals evolved. My writing evolved. It went from very short, quick, again, excerpts to me writing pages. And I can remember I would date it and put the time that I started writing, and then I would put the time that I ended writing. And sometimes I would write for hours. But it started somewhere. It started with just a few seconds or a few minutes. It started with just a list, not these full blown entries. So it began to slowly but surely progress. And then I began to, fill pages. And every time I closed the journal, I felt lighter. I did, because I felt like everything, that I was feeling, I was able to get on paper. Sometimes as teens, even adults, we are not really expressing ourselves, sometimes healthily, or we hold things in. But a journal is a great way to not offend somebody unless they get a hold of it and you're writing about them. But a journal is a great way to get feelings on paper, kind of like lift burdens off of your heart, especially when you're writing and you're praying in those entries. You're writing like through a prayer journal. I felt lighter. I felt seen, even though no one really saw me. It was just me and like Dear Journal. And I also felt safe. And I had to hide my journal because I didn't want to get in trouble for, the entries I wrote where I was upset at my parents. I'd be good. But, this is my very first journal. So I wanted to share this very intimate thing with you because I'm hoping that it will help someone to actually pick up a journal and begin to write. So, as I was saying before, writing was, therapeutic for me. So, we're going to talk about writing as therapy and ministry. Over the years, journaling became a constant companion for me. Many times I remember, going to my room and shutting the door and turning on worship music or R&B. I would turn the R&B on very, very low because I lived in a Christian home and my father was a pastor. So I really wasn't supposed to be listening to R&B, but that's a whole different story. So whatever music I turned on, I would turn it on and I would just write and sit there and just again process. Journaling helped me process life. It helped me hold it together, and sometimes it gave me permission to fall apart. Here you see two journals, the one on the left with the angels in the spiral. That's another journal that my mom gifted me. And I don't know if she knew that my other one was filling up or what, but she gifted me another one. I don't remember the timeline, but the one that's right above me, a friend of mine gave me, I want to say for like my 16th birthday or something, but I have that one. And there are more. They're actually journal entries that I've typed. They're more so in prayer form. And I also have like just regular spiral notebooks as journals and prayer journals. So journaling has done much for me. And I just want to encourage you to pick up your journal. Just begin to write. It may not start off long, like I said before, but journaling is therapeutic and it can turn into ministry because you don't know what will come out of that. As for me, whole books came out. I'm gonna say a whole book came out of these journals. I was able to pull from some of the journal entries in order to write my second book, my memoir called Daddy's Girl. Another thing about journaling, I've given a lot of them as gifts to people. If you know me personally, if I am your friend, or if I've had an opportunity to give you a gift, I've likely gifted you a journal, possibly, because I know the benefits of it. I know what it's done for me. I know that it has been a crucial part of my life. Some of the times I would write about things that I did not know how to deal with. Oh gosh, I'm getting teary eyed again. Um, I wrote, okay, let's hold it together, Mariesa. I remember writing about when my father was first diagnosed with cancer when I was 15 years old. I remember writing about when his mother passed away a few months later, my grandmother. And so some of those memories, I did not know that I was setting myself up, to write a book, but they helped me process because I didn't go to therapy when my father was diagnosed with cancer. I didn't go to therapy when my grandmother passed away. I didn't, but journaling helped me so much because I could process how I felt. I could process how uh, I'll say it was no longer me internalizing by me journaling. It helped get what was on the inside, what I was feeling out on paper, even though it may not have been me verbally saying it. I was getting it out. So I just want to encourage you. I know what it's done for me. I know what it can do for you. And this is why I harp on it. And so I want you to take it into consideration if you haven't already been a journaler. Okay, so several years ago, I was student teaching, and one of my favorite students, she said that I said something to her. This was maybe months after I was finished student teaching. I did not remember saying this to her, but she said, "You said this to me." And so I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense because this is exactly how I feel. She said that I told her, let your writing be your voice, whether it's the glue that holds you together or the safety net that lets you fall apart. And I think this is a powerful quote, not because I said it, but because it's what writing has been for me. For some people, writing will be your voice. when you don't feel like you have a voice to verbally say how you feel to other people, like I just said about journaling. Writing can hold you together because it's a form of therapy, and it also allows you to fall apart and you feel more put together once you allow it to uh it can be your safety net for to that lets you fall apart. So once you get done falling apart and you've journaled and you've maybe poured your heart out to God over these pages, sometimes the pages may be tear stains. I have pages like that where I have just allowed my tears to be my prayers. There's a scripture, and I can't remember exactly where it is right now. Isaiah? No, I can't remember, but somewhere in there it says that the Lord takes our tears and he bottles them up. And he knows what each of our tears means. He knows even when we cannot verbalize how we are feeling or what we are going through, the Lord knows. He knows, he knows, he knows. So I just want to encourage you, let your journal be that for you. This is what journaling is for me. It's what writing has been for me. It's more than just informing, persuading, and entertaining. It has been all of these things for me. But that one journal, that golden retriever covered journal that I showed you in the beginning, it turned into mini journals, and those pages eventually helped me publish again my memoir, Daddy's Girl, which is a testimony of God's grace and God's goodness through the hard places. So I never imagined that back when my mother gifted me that journal at 10 years old, I never imagined that that simple gift would be a calling. But here I am. I'm a woman who loves to write. I'm a woman who helps others write because I know how powerful it is. And there are people walking around now, and I have a heavy conviction for this, a heavy burden for this, that there are people are walking around right now with books in their bellies, but they've never let the pen touch the paper because they don't know where to start. We're going to talk about where to start, how to actually get going next time. Because again, this is something that's on my heart to do. I want to come alongside you and do this. But before we do get started there, I do have a challenge for you. So here is the challenge. Can you remember writing something that helped you? If so, when and what? So I want you to write something that helped you. Can you remember writing something that helped you? If so, when and what? Or answer this question. What would you say if your pen could speak for your soul? These are two questions that I want you to answer just on your own. And if you haven't started journaling, maybe today is the day. Let your writing be your sanctuary. Let it hold your tears, your triumphs, and your testimony. I want you to drop a comment or tag me at your best dash. Tell me, what's your writing story? Or what do you hope it will become? We'll come back next week, and we're going to talk about where to start in session 3. Take care.